Aloha mai kako. We're going to continue on with almost the last sections of our customer service section. And today we're going to talk about further customer service and empathy statements. So here's what it is. No one intentionally gets ready for work with the thought of how can we make the first customer that walks through our door today angry. I know you're chuckling about that, but I have encountered, and I'm sure you have, those workers or customer service representatives that are really in a bad mood, and it appears that they don't want to help you. And then, so here's what I want you to do. To consider, if you're on the customer service representative or worker perspective, we're going to encounter situations where our guests or our customers are angry. So what I'm going to provide for you, as I've done in the past, is empathy statements, and we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to encourage you after this Flipgrid to go and create your own empathy statement or use one of these, and then share that on Flipgrid. Okay? So these empathy statements are when you are not the supervisor or the manager or the person that needs to handle the situation. Okay? So remember, with your tone and your body language and everything, it's really important. As when you were sharing your examples about positive and negative examples, it's really important on how you convey. So for example, the first one, we always appreciate customers who take the time to give us their feedback. I'll pass what you said onto our management team. This lets them know that you're going to take their feedback, and then really you're not the one who can help them. It's just a nicer way of saying, I can't help you, but there's someone else. I'm going to pass the information on to them. Second one, what's happened to you is unacceptable and against company policy. Let me consult the supervisor to see if there's anything we can do to help. This lets them know that that's not acceptable here, and I can't help you again, but let me see if I can get someone to do it. I can understand if that happened to me, I'd be really upset too. This lets them know you hear them, and you also are empathetic, or you can understand that if you're in the same situation, you'd be upset too. It's understandable that you're very upset what's happened. I can understand why you're angry. It's a terrible inconvenience. So again, those three statements are similar. It's just, what are you more comfortable with? One thing I don't want you to do is use the words, I know how you feel, I know what it feels like, because honestly, you don't know how I feel, or you don't know how a customer. So what you should be using is the words, I can understand. That means you heard them and you listened, and then you can empathize with them. And sometimes, but most times, it'll be better if you can restate the problem that they're talking about so that you can repeat it for clarification. So you can say, if I'm understanding you correctly, and then restate what they said. That's clarifying. Okay. This is for if you have to handle the situation. You're the supervisor, or you're the manager, or there's just no one else there. So you can say, we don't like to see our customers upset and inconvenienced. We always strive to create a positive customer service experience. Thank you for alerting us to the bad service you've received. What can I do to help fix the situation? And I understand you've had a bad experience. Let me see what I can do to help. Let me see what I can do to rectify the problem. Here's the thing about empathy statements, and it's really easy. The reason why I end these sentences, what can I do to help the situation? Let me see what I can do to help and rectify, is because sometimes it's really just a matter of asking the customer, what can I do to make it better? Here's the reason why. That gives you a benchmark of what they're willing to accept, and then you can either go above it, or if it's unacceptable, you go lower. For example, if someone says, I want $1,000 and that'll make it better, that you can't do that. So at least you know they want to go really high, and then how can you come lower or exceed their expectation? And then if you don't know, what I want you to do is, after you've had a situation that you've had to handle, go talk to your manager or supervisor and then say, this is the situation that I had, this is how I handled it. And then ask them, do you have any recommendations or suggestions on how I could have handled it differently? That way you're going to understand from your manager's point of view what you can do to help. And then if you're a manager and then you see your worker handling a situation, pull them on the side, ask them later, what was the situation? How did you handle it? And then coach them up, give them some suggestions, or say, that's a great way to handle it. Okay? So that's the empathy statements, and I look forward to hearing yours.